Hi everyone! I have my base makeup on and then I have my eyebrows on, so that's it. So I look a little crazy right now. I had like the worst time getting my base on. For some reason my concealer took off my foundation, or maybe it was my setting spray, I have no idea, but that was a mess. So that took a little bit longer than expected, but I am here today to talk about the new Pat McGrath palette. It is this one right here. It's called Utopian Dreams. It looks like this, and if you see in the mirror, you can see the shifts a lot better this way. There you go. So I, like many other people, when I first saw the advertising, I was like, oh man, I'm like super excited. And then I saw it and I was like, I don't know if I'm excited anymore. So why did I buy it? Well, I currently have a rule for myself where if I want to buy more makeup, particularly unless it's like something that I've been planning for a really long time, or if it's something that I genuinely am really excited to have. So for example, I did buy a couple items from Phytosurgeons earlier this month. I was so excited for that, and it did fit inside my budget because it was just a small order. So that was okay, but if I want to buy like a haul of makeup or anything, I have to sell things. So basically, I have to like it enough that I'm willing to part with something, and then off to Mercari or Reddit it goes to be sold. And particularly what had my interest was the pen, as it did with a lot of people. I was like, this is going to either be really gimmicky or really innovative. My curiosity definitely got the better of me, but you know, I did go through my stuff, like makeup and non-makeup. I was like, look at all, let me see what in the clutter I'm willing to part with. So that's what I did, and I also really wanted to just be able to be a resource for you guys to satisfy your guys' curiosity about comparisons, how it looks like on my eyes, how it looks like on monolids, and of course how this is going to function on monolids, because most people reviewing this are not going to have monolids. And so I'm going to be doing swatch comparisons at the end of the video, so if you're just here for comparisons, then go ahead and skip to the end. So yeah, I hope this is helpful. I hope you might find this enjoyable. It is 9:45 at night for me, so I'm gonna test out the pen on the shades over here. So I kind of want to do a look centered around this duochrome and just kind of have this added maybe just for some extra dimension is what I'm gonna do. So what I do like is that this quad right here is actually a really nice quad. I do prefer Pat McGrath with my natural hair brushes. We're just gonna make this the base shade. I'm testing out a new eyeshadow primer today, which probably not my smartest idea given that I'm gonna be testing out an eye wand as well, but I did make an Ulta 10x points mini purchase. When it's 10x points, it actually is like a seriously good cashback deal basically. And I'm using the NARS smudge proof base. Because it's so late at night, I didn't do my full skincare prep, so my eyelids are very dry. So if you see any patchiness with the eyeshadow, it is definitely because my eyelids are really flaky right now. Like, it's like I have dandruff but on my eyelids, and it can really screw with eyeshadow. So I hope you guys will forgive me. If anything, you'll get to see what eyeshadow looks like on imperfect eyelids, which most of us definitely are not doing like professional level skin prep before putting on makeup. So I did spray quite a bit of like hydrating setting spray and mists and stuff beforehand, but that can only do so much. So, but other than that, other than the fact that my skin is really dry, this does apply and blend so easily. It is really nice. I'm not going to try and build it up to max capacity just because I know with how dry my skin is, the eyeshadow is just going to patch. Thankfully, shimmers don't. Shimmer shadows can kind of work around that. So we're just going to put this on the lower lash line. The other thing is these brushes are soft enough that I can work it around my eyelid without starting to actually exfoliate. I've had that happen before where I start like exfoliating my eyelid in the middle of putting on eyeshadow, and it's just so disgusting. Welcome to the world of dry eyelids. Okay, that's what it's looking like right now. So now I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more depth using this shade right here. And I'm gonna switch to a different brush shape just to kind of get the blend that I want. And again, I'm not trying to build it up to max opacity because my eyelids are just in no condition to accept that amount of pigment. So I'm just gonna kind of build it up to what I consider an appropriate level, and then we're gonna go on from there. Okay, so we're gonna kind of just call that the eyeshadow, I am gonna just blend it out a little bit by using the first shade, and I'm using this time I am gonna be using a fluffy brush, and I'm just gonna make sure everything is nice and diffused. Okay, so it's looking about as good as it's gonna look given the condition of my eyelids. So now I'm gonna try and use this pen. So I am gonna like quickly look online how she intends it to be used. Okay, it says click a few times to reveal product, only a small amount is needed. So it's kind of like the M Cosmetics thing where it has a click, it clicks. So you don't want to push up too much at once. And it can take a little while to get started, so it can't go back down. So if you get this, definitely don't push up too much or else you're gonna really be kind of screwed and you're gonna lose a lot of product. So just push up like the teeniest bit at a time, which is kind of how you want to do it with anything that clicks. I kind of wish it was retractable. I guess I can understand why she didn't, but okay, so it is coming up. So I'm gonna leave this much revealed, that's it, because she said only a tiny amount is required. That way when I close the cap, it doesn't smush it. Now the next step says apply by gliding the wand across your lid or tapping it over the eyeshadow. Use the flat body of the applicator on larger surfaces like the eyelid or brow bone. Use the triangle-shaped precision tip to reach small areas like the cupid's bow or the inner corner of the eye. Secure the cap tightly after each use. So that's kind of all she really has to say about it. So you can literally just put the wand across your eyelid. Now I'm not gonna do that because I have eyeshadow on, and I feel like that would like make the wand dirty. I'll have to I like just don't want to dirty it, so I'm actually just gonna take it on my finger. It does feel very thin and emollient, but it doesn't feel liquidy, and I'm gonna tap that all over my eyelid. So whenever I use products like this, I always get kind of concerned about it mixing with the eyeshadow underneath and like taking it off or liquefying it or making it look weird or just otherwise making it difficult to like blend with. That's kind of my only concern with using glitter glues, mixing mediums, or anything else of the sort, but I am excited to try this. So I am just applying this very generously all across my eyelid. And so far, I don't see any impact on the actual eyeshadow from tapping it on with my finger. I do like that it's in a pen form. I feel like that's just so much easier to use than a glitter glue. It just feels a little bit more accessible and just kind of convenient. Cause like I have the NYX glitter glue and I almost never use it just because I'm like, oh, I have to get out this, I have to like squeeze it out and I have to apply it across my eyelid and it just feels like such a hassle. I'm going to take this shade right here. It has a lilac to blue shift, which is really cool, so I'm looking forward to using this. And I prefer to apply her baked shades with a finger. Now it's really chunky. It almost looks like it could be a pressed glitter. It's not, it's eye safe, but it does kind of bring to mind that effect. So I'm gonna just press this on my eyelid and we're gonna see what happens. I'm like super excited. Now note I might not have put enough product from that pen onto my eye. I'll have to experiment in other looks. I'll see if like I need to put on more, but it definitely went onto my eyelid and it didn't fall onto my face, which is super nice. Just the fact that it's stopping that fallout is already definitely super appreciated, because that's really my only qualm with her baked shades is that they're fallout city if you use a brush or anything. Ooh, it's really pretty. So next time I am gonna experiment with putting more on. I feel like I might not have put on enough, so I couldn't really get like a good intensity, but at the same time, this is still way more than what I would have gotten if I hadn't used this product. This product definitely made a difference. So where it applied near the base of my eyelid, as I lift my eyelid and let it open and kind of fold in on itself, it does feel a little bit strange. Like I can kind of feel my eyelid having to fold different because of how the pen adds a little bit of thickness, but it's not uncomfortable. Like it's not like my eye is sticking to itself, which sometimes happens and is infuriating. Definitely no complaints there. And yeah, this is just, I like this pen a lot. Like right now, my thoughts of it are, ooh, I like this pen a lot. If only for the quality of life improvement it gives me. Like now I can have pat shadows without the fallout, like say no more. Alright, that's what the eyes are looking like. This is such a pretty color. I'm gonna take a really small brush because I want to put the shade above it. I want to put this shade here on my inner corner. So I'm gonna just use all of my favorite inner corner brushes need to be washed. And I just haven't gotten around to it yet, so I do need to wash the brushes. It just hasn't happened yet. And I'm gonna put this on the inner corner. It's so like crazy how much of a difference that makes. Ooh, that's really pretty. Okay, so I blended it out just a little bit with my finger. Yeah, it looks really nice. I do have a little bit of fallout, so I am just gonna kind of brush it off. I'm gonna use her champagne shade. Definitely not unique. Her champagnes still always end up looking really nice, and I gotta be honest, I know this is totally not a popular opinion, but my favorite formula from Pat is not her baked formula. It is really just her plain old metallics. Like her metallics for some reason just are so nice and are a really big highlight of the brand for me, which is why I ended up decluttering my Astral Blitz quads, and I'm in the process of instead wanting to pick up her Luxe quads. And this is just such a beautiful basic shade. So it's perfect for me as a lower lash line thing. Like I always, if the palette I'm using doesn't have my Aegyo shimmer, then I am gonna reach into another palette or use a face highlighter for that shade. And Pat's palettes by and large almost always have it, which is really good for me. Makes my life a lot easier. And this one is a little bit darker in color than her other champagnes, and I'll make sure to swatch everything for you guys so that you can see the comparisons with her other palettes, all the champagnes. But this is a little bit darker than some of the other champagnes in her palette, so it almost is too dark. It's definitely too dark to use as, say, a face highlighter, but on top of darker eyeshadow, you can still see the contour effect, and it's not like a stark white, like, you know, 2000s K-pop stark white. So that's what it's looking like. I'm gonna try and see if I can build a little bit over those mattes. So I'm gonna take more of that dark brown matte. I'm gonna see if I can build over this and just kind of blend that depth back in. Yeah, there's not really much of a problem there, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna call that look the look. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of my face off camera, and then I'll be back and we can talk about some comparisons. Alright, so I have gone ahead and swatched all of the shades, and I'm gonna turn the lights down so you can see them. So here they are on my arm, and I'm sorry for the poor lighting, but you can still kind of see them on my arm. So this one here is gonna be the Mothership 9. So this is the one from Utopian Dreams, the one closest to my hand. And then in order, we're gonna go, this is Mothership 1, which is very, very white. Mothership 3, this one. Mothership 3 is a little bit more orange. And then we have Mothership 5, a little bit more gold. And then we have Mothership 6. This is my personal favorite. It just has a nice amount of rosiness to it. And then we go to Mothership 7, which is actually ridiculously similar to Mothership 1. So I think these two right here are actually the most identical. And then Mothership 8 is kind of the most unique. It's not even champagne at all. It's more of that white to orange pink shift. So that would be all of those champagne colors. I'm gonna just kind of rotate my arm so you can kind of see on my arm what they all look like. Alright, and now we have the Trio Chromes. Again, closest to my hand is Utopian Dreams, and then this is going to be Divine Rose 2 or Mothership 8. Now, interestingly, the one in Utopian Dreams is a standard metallic. It is not her baked formula. This is her baked formula. So you're gonna see that they lay on the skin slightly differently. However, and this is what really had me kind of irritated, the shifts are pretty much fundamentally the same. It is a pink to green shift. It's fine, but there's two of them in two palettes. You know, I've been so busy with kittens, I didn't quite get a close look at the palette and like really remember in my head, so I didn't realize that the Trio Chrome looks the exact freaking same. So this is definitely gonna be a killer for some people. But you can see they both shift to green. Alright, so if I use a mirror to kind of reflect the light, you can now see the green. So if you look, the Divine Rose 2 green shift is very, very green. The Utopian Dream green shift is much more warm toned. So if I'm looking at it myself and watching it shift myself, it is very green, but then the shift for the other one, it's much more warm toned, almost brassy. So if I kind of tilt my arm back, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Again, if I use my mirror, especially here, you can really see it here, this mirror. Now you can really see what it looks like. See how the Divine Rose 2 green is a much more pure green, whereas the other one from Utopian Dreams is much more of a yellow green. So the green is going to be different. The base that you're looking at, you can see how similar they look. Now I personally find this one to be from Divine Rose 2 I find this to be very easy to overblend, and then you see the black base. This one being a metallic is going to be a lot easier for me to work with, so I am going to prefer this one. I also find that the green being a little bit more yellow green is just a much more flattering shade. So that's kind of what I have to say about those. Now, as far as multi-chromes and trio chromes go, this pink to green shift that Pat McGrath and a lot of other indie brands have, it's not my favorite. Just as a personal preference, my personal favorite multi-chromes are ones that stick to yellow, oranges, and reds, or alternatively, I also love blue and purple multi-chromes. Those are just like among my favorites. Even Cleona's own shades that shift from pink to green or red to green, not really my favorites. It's hard to get a matte shadow where it's gonna look good with both red and green at the same time. That's the comparison. I hope that was helpful for you guys. Lastly, here are the golds. Now, I know everybody likes to make jokes about Pat McGrath and her golds, but actually these are all from her big motherships. These are actually all really fun takes on golds, and I found her golds and all across the motherships, they really are not similar, like, at all. I guess if you have like any of her 6-pans, you might run into a lot of golds in like her 6-pans, but if you're just like me and you really just own motherships, you're not getting much repetition in gold land over here. I actually think none of these golds are anything alike. If anything, it's really nice that I have here what is a really pretty take on golds. Like, imagine if all these golds were in one singular palette, and then you kind of have like your own little gold palette. So here is Utopian Dreams. It is actually, when you put it next to all the other golds, it actually is very, very orange. This is from Mothership 3. Now, this is a very unique gold. It's a black-based yellow green gold, like almost like an old gold kind of feel, and it has a very strong black base. So this has an extremely different feel to everything else here. This is gold standard from Mothership 4 Decadence. This is the gold most people think of when they think Pat McGrath gold. It is a very just true gold. Now, I personally don't find this to be my favorite gold in my collection. My favorite golds in my collection actually come from Natasha Denona's gold palette, but I don't really think anyone's surprised by that. It is a very good palette from Natasha Denona. This is Mothership 5. This is not really similar at all. You can see it has a very bright lime green shift. And then this is from Mothership 6, much more subdued. This is Mothership 7. So I think Mothership 6 and 7's golds are much more similar. These are like the most similar. And then Mothership 8 over here, most similar to Mothership 4. Now, it's worth noting that Mothership 4's gold standard is a metallic. All these other golds I have swatched here are those baked shades. That's all her golds swatched. I don't think you're gonna run into any risk of duping yourself here if you have a bunch of motherships. Now, please note, I do not have Mothership 2 and I have no plans on buying it, so that's why you will see no Mothership 2 swatches in this. It's just because I don't have it. So I hope this is really helpful for you guys. And I'll kind of also hold it at a different angle so you can see what it looks like. My look is complete, first of all. Really like it. I could have gone harder with the blush. I definitely could have, but I don't know, I got lazy, I guess. I definitely could have gone harder with the blush, but that's okay. I think my whole look looks great. The lip definitely is what really finishes off this whole look, so good look. But what I also wanted to do is I wanted to compare what the motherships look like. So I'm not gonna swatch the entire palette and then swatch it next to another palette. If you want to see swatch comparisons, please go watch Tara Lynn's video comparing and swatch, like full arm swatches, like with Utopian on top and something else on the bottom. Please go watch Tara Lynn's video. I'm not gonna do that work twice. It is already out there, and she does an amazing job. She does flash and no flash. But I'm gonna hold up the mothership so you guys can just get a visual comparison. And here they are. You can see Utopian Dreams and Divine Rose 2, and you can look at them and you can see that they are very, very similar. The mattes in particular are a lot more pink here. There's also only 2 mattes in this, whereas this has 3 mattes. And you can see the shift here. You can really see the difference in the undertones of the green, and why I say the Utopian Dreams green is a lot better than the Divine Rose 2 green. I hope these are helpful to you. And you can definitely see now it's Utopian Dreams that is the more intense version and the more pink version, whereas Divine Rose 1 is just a lot more toned down. It almost looks neutral in undertone by comparison, even though we all know Divine Rose 1 is very pink. I hope that helps you guys. And you can see that the duochrome in Divine Rose 1 is a pink gold, so no trio chromes there. I hope this helped you guys. And I hope my swatch comparisons helped you guys as well, to just kind of see if you guys are on the fence, or if you guys are just curious and you guys just like seeing expensive Pat McGrath palettes in action and you guys just like seeing the comparisons. I thought the golds would all be totally the same, and they actually weren't. And then I thought the champagne shades would all totally be the same, and they definitely are similar, but They're different enough that they read differently on the eye, and additionally each champagne is crafted specifically to match with what's in the rest of the palette. So that's why each one is different, is because she's picking the perfect brighter kind of champagne-ish or champagne adjacent metallic that matches with the rest of the color story. I personally love that she always has champagne in her palettes, and it just started raining and thundering out of nowhere. I'm sorry. I just love champagne shadows. So I personally really do enjoy this palette. This pen here I think has really great promise, and I'm excited to continue using it. So I hope this video helped you guys. I have more looks coming very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!